Okay, all. Time has come to transplant from the little pot into my bucket that I'm actually going to grow it in. As you can see, this is just a regular old handy dandy Home Depot bucket. What I've done with this bucket is I've drilled some 1/2-inch holes in the bottom. You don't have to have a whole lot of them, but I drilled some. Then I put some about 1/2-inch or so, 3/4-inch aggregate in the bottom. Washed it down real good so it's nice and clean. And as you can see, I'm going to use Sunshine Mix number 4 in here. This was recommended as a grow medium. Okay. As you see this bale right here, this is pretty much the only way you can buy it. I haven't been able to find it in any other bags. Found this at a grow shop. Actually cheaper than... Anyway, I called around all the grow shops. This stuff was going for $50 for a bag like this. I'm like, wow, that's like way more than I need, and I really can't afford $50. But I managed to find this at one of the grow shops for $40. Actually, I think the only reason they did that because this was only one of 2 bales that they had, and they were probably trying to liquidate what they had on stock. But anyhow, so I picked this up. I will not be using all of this because I'm going to be splitting this with my father-in-law because he wants to do a bunch of growing vegetables and stuff like that. But anyway, this was recommended to me for a grow medium for growing cannabis in dirt. So anyway, let's go ahead and get this little chore out of the way. Like I said, I've already got the bucket prep ready to go. Now, unfortunately, this dirt, like all dirt when you buy it, is dry. So what I'm going to do is get this bag open. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and scoop this straight in here. Like I said, I got rock in here, and the rock is already washed. Go ahead and fill this up, and after I fill it up, I'm going to dump water in, mix it up some. But I'm going to overwater it so it drains out the bottom. The aggregate in the bottom is to keep the soil from going through the holes in the bottom. Holes in the bottom is allows the excess water to drain off of the soil so I don't overwater my plant. Because somebody asked me about the well, won't you overwater your plant? Well, the soil will only hold so much water. Okay? So if you keep or you plant it in a container that has holes in the bottom so that it can drain, then your chances of overwatering your plant are pretty slim. Because like I said, your plant will only hold so much water. But then again, you don't want to drown your plant every time you water either. So, there you go. And of course, like I said, this is dry, so it's going to be fluffed up some. As I add water to it, it'll settle some. But I'm going to fill this all the way to the top because of the settling. I'm also going to be using this to transplant some tomatoes. This is some excellent soil. There's nothing in this. No nutrients. Okay? What I will be using for my nutrients to start off with is because the reason why I'm going to be using this particular nutrient is that fish emulsion that I showed you the other day that I used to straighten out the nitrogen problem with my plant. And the reason why I'm going to use that to start with is because it's a 5-1-1. It continues supplying nitrogen for the plant so it can continue to grow and grow healthy and hardy and get some height to it. In the meantime, I've done some pricing around for different nutrients because someone asked me about that too. What do I use? Well, I want to find something that I can use, basically a one-shot formula for a while. Well, I found some done by Fox Farm. It is called Grow Big. And it is a PKE of 644. And that sounds like that'll be just about right. But of course, that's only for vegetative growth. When I get ready to put this into a flowering room, then I'm going to change over. I think I'm going to go with advanced nutrients because I've been doing a lot of research and listening to a lot of people. And it seems to me that the advanced nutrients is supposed to be the best. And then someone was sitting there telling me, well, it's also very expensive. And I'm saying, well, do you want the biggest buds? Do you want the hardest buds, or rock hard buds? Do you want high trichome output? I mean, do you want your buds where they're just like dusty when you harvest them and stuff like that? And it's like, well, of course you want all of these traits out of your medicine. That's exactly what you're doing this for, correct? So expensive isn't really an issue compared to what you're going to get out. If you want high quality medicine, then you got to give it all the possible light that you can muster. And I don't mean CFLs either. Not everybody. I'm watching some of these people use CFLs, and they grow their bud fine out of CFLs. But if they use metal halides during the veg and use HPS during your flowering cycle, your buds are going to be bigger. You're going to get a higher yield. Of course, nutrients help with that as well. But it's the reason why is because of the wavelength of the lights. You're going to have a certain your Kelvin, your temperature. There we go. The temperature of the light you're using. CFLs do not produce the proper light band for growing. Well, actually, they do sort of, but it's very broad. It covers all the light spectrum. But you don't want that for both veg and for flowering. For vegetative growth, you want 6,500 Kelvin. That's like sunlight, pure sunlight, like during the summer. And then when you put it into flower, you want to change that off to a different Kelvin or different color of light. The reason why? Because a different color of light promotes flowering. And you want to stay with that. And like I said, you go out and you check all this stuff out, you'll see what I'm talking about. Okay, now I just put about a gallon of water in there. Not sure that's going to be enough. I'll be right back. I'm going to go get some more water. I'm not happy. I don't want to see the water running out the bottom before I put this plant in here. Be right back.